Let's today look at recent examples of government activity to drive forward China's low-altitude economy. As I keep saying, China does not just allow innovation to happen, it actively creates the fertile ground on which the new inventions can flourish. Today we look at three almost literal examples of doing the groundwork. The first example is near Shanghai, in Kunshan City, where the first test base in Central East China, or Huadong, for Ton-class UAVs has been established, as reported by Suzhou Daily. Why is that relevant? Huadong is one of the most densely populated areas of China and probably of the whole world. This means on one hand, you have a huge number of engineers, entrepreneurs, angel investors, etc. in one place, which is great for innovation. But it limits the possibilities of flight testing because you don't want to have flight tests above populated areas, nor does China allow drones fly near airports. And looking at the map, there are many airports in Huadong around Shanghai. This specific test base was set up in Jinxi village, a very famous place because it has an absolutely stunning ancient water town, the Jinxi Guzhen, which is incredibly beautiful with some bridges going back more than 1,000 years, and at night it's beautifully illuminated and it's a big tourist magnet. If we assume a 250-kilometer range around Jinxi, we can reach major metropolises like Shanghai, Hangzhou, Suzhou, and even Nanjing and Ningbo, which plus a dozen smaller cities with still each 1 million or more inhabitants. That's a potential customer pool for direct flights to the tourist location of roughly 100 million people. And that doesn't even include tourists from afar flying into the local international airports, which then may one day also be connected to eVTOL shuttle services. So besides testing the eVTOLs, this base may also help air traffic management test their tools for future vertiports in this area. As for the base construction, note the China speed. On February 14th, the groundbreaking ceremony took place. By mid-August, the national level Civil Aviation Administration of East China inspected the place and operations plan, gave feedback, and by end of September, test operations have been approved. The base is about 4 hectares in size, has a test airspace of 24 square kilometers horizontally and up to 600 meters vertically. It integrates 4G communication, navigation, weather service, and Shanghai's air traffic control system to quickly approve test flights. They've worked with Autoflight, a Shanghai-based eVTOL company, for their test operations. Autoflight has flown some 2,500 hours with their already certified V2000CG eVTOL during test operations. A different example is regulation changes. For example, in Hainan, as reported by China eVTOL News, Hainan is China's most southern province, a tropical peninsula, which in recent years has tried to establish itself as the most open and internationalized region of China. In the new Hainan Free Trade Port tourism regulations, systematic guidelines covering tourism, planning, resource protection, industry development, international safety and supervision are covered. Among the provisions, Hainan is promoting low-altitude tourism activities, including sightseeing flights, flight performances, training programs, competitive events, and recreational air sports. The regulations specifically highlight opportunities for tourism projects involving helicopters, gliders, hot air balloons, skydiving, paragliding, powered paragliders, and tow paragliders. To support initiatives, the regulations also encourage the construction of takeoff and landing facilities for low-altitude aircraft in areas with suitable conditions, such as major tourist attractions and stations along the island-circling tourist highway. So you see, low-altitude economy isn't just the world novelty fancy stuff like eVTOL, flying buses and taxis. It also covers a lot of airborne activities that are already fairly standard in developed countries. By integrating old and new, China can cross-subsidize new tech by allowing economic catch-up growth at the same time. Opening up and allowing for Chinese to copy or learn from established services in other countries is always far quicker, easier and simpler to monetize than entirely new blue ocean industries. A third example of how a national strategy like the one to promote the low-altitude economy is implemented is by looking at how different authorities coordinate and work together. As eVTOL Express reports, in Yunnan, a new company was registered to the tune of 150 million RMB equity, that's roughly 22 million US dollars, with the name Yunnan Low Altitude Flight Operations Service Company Limited, or Yunnan 低空飞行运营服务有限公司. What's interesting is the 3 shareholders who founded it and who all are fully state-owned companies. The Yunnan Airport Group Company Limited, the Yunnan Communications Investment and Construction Group Limited, and the Yunnan Communications Development and Investment Co. Limited. Now here, China can be very confusing, especially in English, because for strange historic reasons, the latter 2 companies' official names indeed in English is communications, when in Chinese they're actually called jiaotong, which means traffic or like traffic infrastructure. So Yunnan Jiaotong Touzhi Jianshe Jituan Youxian Gongsi in Chinese is easily, obviously understandable as Traffic Investment and Construction Group, not related to communications. Long story short, the Airport Authority of the province partners up with Traffic Macroplanning Authority and the Traffic Infrastructure Construction Authority. What I expect to come from this is an integrated strategic plan of small airports, vertiports and drone stations to enable both near-term air sports like paragliding, sport airplanes or helicopter services, as well as long-term services like eVTOL shuttles and more fancy futuristic stuff. Remember, China is huge and everything happens in parallel. These are just 3 examples of what's been happening during the last few weeks. The amount of information is vast and things keep changing very, very quickly. So please follow, like and share this program, and I thank you for watching.